So, hello everyone, how are you? So, coming back with today's editorial, first me, let I forgot to add the today's day. It's 24th January, National Girls Day. National Girls Day. So, so let's have a recap of today's editorials. So, covering with the front page about the fire rumor by a tea seller triggered Jalgaon tragedy. RNA is kicked of the 4th millennium BC in Tamil Nadu's telling. Second one is about the how poverty is being underestimated in India. Through the various committees, we will understand about the poverty. It's a grey birthday of Election Commission of India. Fourth one is regarding the India's winding road to end TB. Fifth one is regarding the France influence or in the West Africa, and also this is also a map based question. So just locate in the map their boundaries. What are the neighboring countries? Seventh one is about WHO is right. US must who's the fold its own WHO folds in its own interest. Picture of the week is it's a chinar tree located in Jammu Kashmir facing threats due to urbanization. Eighth one is about the DGC suggested a phase. Already we have covered the articles tomorrow, and there's a stung by Pooja Khedkar Row. Government amends the civil services exam rules. Ninth was covering the small corner news, not so important, but at the point of general awareness, I added it. Manrega's wage payment system significantly not better. It's meta secured NCLT relief from CCI WhatsApp. So let's going to the front page. So how many of guys have already filled the form of UPSC? There are many rules and application. There are new rules that is already uploaded on the YouTube about the new rules. You can get a help through this if you ever getting some confusion. So fill the form very carefully. And who is on the first time, comment in the section who is going to be giving the exam in 2025. I am also going to appear. It's my first time. So let's start the editorial with the first page. It's about the fire rumor by a tea seller triggered by the triggered Jalgaon tragedy. So here about the accident, train accident that was already covering the front page of tomorrow, yesterday articles, and also as covering it today. It's about there is a tea seller who is getting the rumor about there is a fire stack in the wheels, so that everyone is just pulling the chain and try to get out of the train. So basically, what are the where is the weakness in the system? What are the vacancies? And already there is a railway vacancies which is reduced from 1 lakh to 80,000. So there is a more needs of the railway services which are going, and many vacancies we are getting the vacancies, but still the government is not providing job. Many are unemployed, and we are all are in need of job. But why the government is not getting the job is also a questions. So here is about the who is giving the these rumors, and what is the system lacking here. About the Jalgaon train accident, one district that is located in Maharashtra. About the Chief Minister Ajit Pawar's on Thursday, like Pushpak Express train already covered in yesterday headlines. It's investing criminal conspiracy angles about the checking the speeds brake where they came from. Mr. Prasad dismissed the pot of smoke as a fire brigade foam was not used and during the rescue work. So the railway investigation team includes the principal chief secretary officer and the engineer, mechanical engineer, and principals from commercial central railway zone. How many railway zones in India? Comment. Tell me in comment box. So the railway protection force and the initiated in the preliminary inquiry as per rules, and there the people could not see the train coming, and the in just like just there's another train ongoing and peoples are just overcoming one another trains. So to avoid the accident, the pilots tried to their best to avoid the incidents. CPR sir Pushpak train, there is an emergency chain pulling incident rumored to the fire, and this was the lowered as there's a 12 people killed in this uh, type of incidents. So the Iron Age kicked off the 4th millennium BC, Tamil Nadu Stalin. So there was a report released in the by Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin about the Thursday about the introduction of iron in the modern day Tamil Nadu, and it was the report of uniquity of iron. The recent Tamil Nadu authored by begin the iron implementation begin in Tamil soil. Basically, they was saying that the reports had published. So the institution on prominent South India over the 5300 years ago, the iron was used on Tamil lands in 345 BC, he said. So there are 3rd millennium BC going to back to. So going to the second editorial is about, is the poverty being underestimated in India? So let's have a what the writer is saying. There's a conversation between the authors. So basically, the writer is saying the government released a fact sheet of 2023 household consumption. Just wait a 1 minute. So basically, here is the about the expenditure survey, household consumption expenditure survey at CES, and they released the report which recorded decline in poverty in urban and rural areas. So over the last few years, policymakers and academics have debated the issue of incomparable data set, unavailability of data, and definition of adequate consumption market. So is poverty being underestimated in India? So PC Mohan and Anand Murthy discussed their question like here. So how do you define poverty, and is poverty being underestimated in India? So we have a stable definition from poverty from late 1970 to 2005. Sorry. So basically, we have a sustaining a minimum calorie diet that is used to be updated every 5 years by NSSO. So the NSSO survey started the whole exercises. It estimated the private expenditure and those of the national accounts, but very similar, so there was no controversy. But over the years, their estimates diverged so much, the questions came up about the accuracy of NSS data. Then the government appointment the Tendulkar committee. There is a committees that give the definitions of poverty, like Tendulkar committee and Rangarajan committee, that defines the poverty on the basis of expenditure. So basically, the government appointment Tendulkar committee, at same time NSO also started experimenting with different methodology. So basically, as 2011, the poverty estimated NORC conducted a survey. People started alternative of expenditure, and later multidimensional poverty index was induced, because poverty can't be measured on the basis of expenditure. There should be a multidimensional. Someone is be defined in at the terms of expenditure, but some has the expenses, like everyone has the, it should be covered at the multidimensional level. So the poverty estimates. So what is the question about the, like, there are many reasons. Poverty estimation over a period is very large. Many reasons such as high GDP growth, high public expenditure. Though there are flagship program by the union state government. So the still we have a National Food Security Act, and nearly over 80 crore people saying that people still live in a extreme poverty. So initially we're defining poverty that we are taking about a calorie consumption alone, but definition has been broadened. Like if we use Tendulkar line or Rangarajan line, you might get different numbers, but change it in two different rounds. The method to close or less is close to 17 to 18%. So the Rangarajan himself estimated poverty was close to 10%. To 10%. So I wouldn't be surprised. So what are the concern of HE's data? So here about the divergences is NSSO per capita household consumption expenditure data, those from national accounts. So some of the NSS started experiment with different recall periods. With a 7-day recall period, it's a 30-day period. 30-day period and other, but these estimated that then could not be compared. Like different recall period, we had a uniform URP and we have 30 days. Like MRP mixed references periods, MRP is 30 using 30 days food and 365 for other goods. So then we modify the then we had a modified mixed reference period. This modify mixed reference period 7 for along with 30 days and 365 days for other items. This give a higher estimate. So here is the data about visiting. So how do we know about poverty in rural and urban areas? So the data shows that rural urban differential in consumption is actually coming down. Rural areas are doing better. But the idea of rural areas are that we have based on 2011 census. Still the census has not been done. So we are basically taking the data from 11 census. So that significant portion in rural areas is basically urban or peri-urban in character. The food expenditure used to be major component, and 2022-23 data shows that substantial number of items are in same urban or rural areas and put to a statistical place in a including a census, so we know rural and urban. So what are the NRBs? There should be a clear separations or rural urban areas. If we decide to shift the peri-urban areas to urban areas, I think urban poverty would decline much faster than preliminary estimates. And we see a sharp fall in number of poor, but in terms of consumption, we have to look at public policy intervention. So there is some criticism against Niti Aayog multi-dimensional poverty index. UNDP index has 10 indicator and India's index has 12. Criticism is invalid. So writer is talking about the NRB. Writer said that UNDP has one methodology for all countries. It had only one framework that suggests what needs to be part of your consumption basket, but it left to the other countries to customize methodology. So UNDP include in the index and the writer is saying that she is not sure because multi-dimensional poverty tell you whether you are deprived of that particular indicator or not. So when you don't have a child, all those indicators related or not relevant, household is not deprived of those things. Many indicators actually don't go down, so there is no scope of getting deprived in future. So we don't measure income vulnerability and we need to do that. So moving to the next article is a grey birthday of Election Commission of India. So here about so the executive government had instructed imagine the things who are going to belong basically either racially or culturally or linguistically are excluded. So a grey birthday of Election Commission is like it's going to be sorry. We celebrated 25 January as a National Voters Day. 25 January and it's going to be tomorrow, January 25. January 25, sorry. 25 is the National Voters Day and going to be the 75th anniversary. 75th anniversary of the birth of ECI. So India's founding leaders will be let down the ECI by not deemed to be happy 75th birthday. Basically writer is talking about that it was going to be about 75 years of since establishing of National Voter Day and ECI. But what are their duties and what are they performing? The question are still everybody is questioning to the ECI. Just 1 minute. Because the ongoing elections like in Delhi elections, the voters, the both opposition parties are getting the allegation against each other of like removing the names of previous voters that is selected from AAP constituents, the constituencies of AAP. And there is also editorials that tell in Chandigarh, where there is a removal of some voters of BJP to win there. So basically, these all are acts basically questioning the establishment of ECI, that how there is a establishment of 75 years and the CGI, already CGI has removed from it. So the election commission has an independent power to control these, to conduct the votes on the basis of the state elections and the like central level elections. So how there is a such processes occurs, and how everybody is questioning to ECI about claiming that is there is a false allegations that votes are turned out. Basically in the sorry, but basically in this editorial we are basically talk about this. So let's go through this article. The executive. So here in 1949, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar said the constituent fundamental right, executive should be regarded this is a fundamental right, said B.R. Ambedkar, introducing constitutional provision to set up. So the case of Maharashtra, Dr. Ambedkar was a precedent. His warning about the electoral roll manipulation in the about executive by executive. So he was more concerned about the election of the voter through identity, discrimination, government interferences, and in electoral rolls that can also place through the process of mass inclusion, as seen recently held in Maharashtra state elections. So ECI enrolled 9.7 crore voters of 2024 of Maharashtra elections. So the Narendra Modi government Ministry of Health report estimated the entire adult population of Maharashtra in 2024 was 9.5 crore, and ECI by its own admission registered 16 lakh more voters in official estimate that total adult population. So even if we want to accept that the government estimate only a projection and can vary, it still implemented nearly 100% or more. So this is very strange because ECI neither enrolled nearly all adults, and voter of Maharashtra Lok Sabha elections held just 6 months earlier, nor ever before in any of other large state, then how the more people of entire estimated the adults population voter only for state election. So the mass enrollment this is because in just a month how the 48 lakh people were registered as a new voter in just 6 months. It means there is addition of their own between Lok Sabha and state election. For contest 2019 to 24, only 32 lakh new voters were enrolled in just 6 months vis-a-vis previous 5-year period. So what led to a sudden intriguing rush by Maharashtrian registered to vote election alone? So the BJP Mahayuti alliance gained 72 lakh more voters, and a Congress-led Aghadi alliance in Lok Sabha election who shifted the allegiance. But what is not the case? Only 24 lakh in voter needs away from Congress alliance between. So where is the 48 lakh, 72 lakh, 24 lakh votes from the state election? So state versus Lok Sabha. So since the group 2 gained the votes in state versus Lok Sabha elections, it is then rational to dispute 48 lakh people. Astonishingly, ECI has confirmed officially that 48 lakh people as a new voter for Maharashtra election. So it is miraculous coincidence, a case of divine intervention of executive interference. And Dr. B.R. Ambedkar won 75 years ago. So the sudden rush of new voter in 6 months, are they real or they are a ghost? So how is the regardless of one political affiliation to rational mind, it's amply evident that there is a something amiss, and question is Perhaps the questions can be asked. So if not so it logical, not so logical that arrogantly a counter of include a large scale addition and election commissioner and ECI with a and it is unfair and illegal to add a vast number of dubious voters to influence an election's its outcome. ECI with responsibility of preserving the India's electoral on political party. So basically there is also the term used that the Aadhaar can be linked to know the which persons are removed and which are one is new added. So to reveals the importance of using Aadhaar to unghost and deduplicate electoral rolls to use a biometric verification of voting. Of course, not even a single eligible citizen should be denied his vote. An appropriate backup processes for whose biometric and appropriate backup for those who biometric verification fails. So the democracy foundation of India's in electoral democracy, Aadhaar is the verification of electoral rolls and voting is the birthday cake that ECI must be given to preserve the strength. It is idea that America and the other founders may approve of. So concluding to this article, moving to the next one. So India's winding road to end TB. So let me first discuss about the TB, that India is how winning the road of TB. TB, tuberculosis bacterium, is basically it is celebrated on the day on 24 March, National TB Day. So TB is a bacterial infection caused by Mycobacterium tuberculosis. So here it is about to ending the TB. So TB as a disease is killer globally and the goal is to end the TB target of 90% reduction, 80% reduction in new cases and zero TB affected families affecting the facing catastrophic cost by 2030. Basically we are aimed to end the TB till 2025 at a minimum target, but at last we have to end till the 2030. So we are just on winding road. So COVID-19 was a pandemic huge push back to the efforts. So according to the WHO tuberculosis report 2024, India has constituted a global TB burden of 26% of the cases, and the initiative rolled out of national list that came into effect. So India's National Tuberculosis Elimination Program (NTP) clearly defines that the high risk of vulnerable groups are risk of contracting TB and developing adverse outcome. So Pavitra Mohan Pediatrician, non-founder of Basic Healthcare, non-governmental organization working from South Rajasthan, says that 1,000 persons, writer is telling 1,000 persons in our TB with clinics every year, and many of severe lung damage owing to the fine dust inhalation, and they are risk at TB to contributive factors like silicosis, it's undernutrition, overcrowding, uncontrolled comorbidities and diabetes, comorbidities like diabetes. So basically these are the causes writer is talking about here. So they prefer to back in the native places if they fall ill. So hence it is not easy to healthcare delivery system to deliver these, to keep track of their treatment. So the undernutrition, well, while a lot of attention is being paid to tackling undernutrition among persons with TB, PTW, is to host of other contributory factor in each geography needs to address, requiring multi-sectoral action. So drug from NTP, a significant achievement is India's treatment inhalation is more than 95% of notified cases. An exclusive procurement and supply chain of NTP. So how in 2020 there is a countrywide break in supply chain, like shortage of key drugs in centers, and many of which are available to open market left beneficiaries. TB survivor says that it takes many miles for a PWTB to reach the finishing line. So person with TB to reach the finishing line For risking resistance to antibiotic, that is MRD, multi-drug resistance. If first time you eat the drug and not completely completing the dosing, then it become a resistance to the second time it is become resistant to the first time drugs. So there is also risking resistant to antibiotics, poor diseases outcome. What is, and there is on extra pulmonary TB, that is other than pulmonary reason like joint, skin, bones, kidneys, spinal cord. However, the NTP main focus is has pulmonary TB affecting the, but more affecting is pulmonary TB. So writer is telling that Dr. Deepak Chandra Badani, a surgeon working in rural Chhattisgarh, says doctor in the Indian setting should have higher index of suspicion in TB in the cases they. So the proper high history taking through clinical examination, simple tests such as pus staining. These are the diagnostics tests for the TB. Simple pus staining from non-yielding ulcer can diagnose. Basically, for clinical diagnosis, we can do ELISA, and also there is also one more test. Just so I am not able to recall. So the clinical examination, pus staining, non-Hilsing ulcer can help diagnose TB. We should start treatment depend heavily on the specialized to diagnose the substantial advanced diseases, and only 35% private practice now 75 government could correctly diagnose the patients with TB, with the classical symptoms of TB. So that there is a impact of diagnosis as a private practitioner prescribe antibiotic for prefer without any diagnostic test. So these are the TB. So what are the need to be done is like Kudamshri Idukki district. Here is about Kudamshri, one of the largest women's self-help group in the world for TB elimination efforts in the state Kerala, sorry. So there are chances that 24 compared to 2015, 24%. There is a global decline, and Vietnam is a high burden country. Administrative help in NTP, and Vietnam is a high burden country for recently showing the effective use of finding for TB for high risk groups. So moving to the next article is how does the Trump 75-day order affect the TikTok ban? So basically the US government also after the taking the oath as of Trump government, he bans TikTok, going to ban 75-day order. So the TikTok basically is Chinese company that already India has already banned because there is also cases of the leaking of the data from internal sources. So this is a federal ban 75 days lifeline that gave a TikTok certified lifeline for offline US based user. And what is based on TikTok law, that Control Application Act signed by the Joe Biden for a foreign advisories on TikTok and other harmful activities, spurious data, national security from. The goal is to prevent it from. So the does law apply advices can be prohibited from being distributed and maintained hosted in US to reduce the foreign control, meaning that they can be penalties given entity. So there is about 170 million US based user. The provision of their account, photos, posts, videos before ensuring they do not access to their they don't lose access to their content. So 90 days where any challenges to specific action under law may be within the 13 days of decision. So legal exclusively by US court appeal. So the president can override the Mr. Another way to order through the lens of political expediencies given popularity of TikTok. So they're attempting to. So the 75-day order delaying national security advice, security risk, negotiate a solution. So moving to the next article is about is France influence West Africa. So the French troops would withdraw at the end month of the Chad. France handed its military base to the Faya League, began with the Senegalese president December 3, Di Maio Frère called the closure of all French military base. So how did the Chad, Ivory Coast and Senegal ask for French for a French troops has been stationed since 2014 as the Operation Barkhane. Here the Operation Barkhane for Chad defense for decade do not align with security requirement. Chad President Mohamed Dabei says that ending the defense government is like taking back to the respect government and sovereignty, and second the public dissatisfactions over the French presence French troops have been fighting insurgent group linked to this. So what is the withdrawal mean for France? It means there's a four implications. What is the four? First one is that the obituary of Francois. Second one is to decline the political. Second one is decline the political influence. Third is a waning of military presence. Therefore, the project has given, and the fourth is the male force is Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger have pushed the French troops to involuntary, which show neither replaced by Russian. So there is a large winning European influence in Africa and geopolitical area conflict, declining presence and competition from Russia and China. Africa were the least focus. So the US struggling to shift in political landscape like security issues from the war, Ukraine larger economic strain, therefore handling autocracies, migraines on the back burner. So moving to the next article. As WHO is right. So basically the US must return to WHO fold in its own interest. We will just discuss that how the US return led to WHO folds in its own interest. Basically US is also US is a just economic country, and there is a great contribution of WHO also, and there is withdrawing from WHO. So how it is affecting it? WHO is established since 7 April 1948. Headquarters is in Geneva, Switzerland. There are also there is a many the regional headquarters. Basically in India there is it is established in Delhi also. So now after withdrawing from US withdraw, next one is China and India, and there is opportunity for India to just settle there and make WHO for as a great economy. So the WHO is based on charge of bias, sternly short-sighted, deeply concerning the predicting. Pundits are predicated on this move, so the effect of its cascading effect. Set of unpredictable consequences arising from even the smallest changes in the system. So the US membership of WHO is a language of petulance. So Mr. Trump has signed his first batch of executive order, declared WHO ripped us off. US now leave the United Nations agency in 12 months. 12 months time, and stop all financial contribution to its work. So it has a very great impact on it. So how it is affected, like he accused the organization of mishandling of COVID-19 pandemic, because there was some allegations that WHO don't give the information that China is doing something. There is a China through which the COVID-19 is spreading. They don't give informations, and owned and controlled by WHO for acting slowing and being owned and controlled by China. This is also giving hint that it was going to control by China. It was the scabbard who came to an end. So the withdrawal of US what are significance is, for starter, Trump is right. The US is founding member of WHO and its biggest financial backer. So contributing here, it is contributing 18% of its overall funding. So withdrawal of seriously impacted the health programs implemented across the world, like including the HIV/AIDS, tuberculosis, eradication of certain infectious diseases. WHO also involved in ensuring the equity access. So these are the works of like reaching to everybody to COVID vaccines, giving the reports about the HIV/AIDS, tuberculosis, eradication programs of infectious disease. So it are detecting drugs for people across the world, building a stronger health system. So if the Trump could set the petulance side, it's clear that global health does not operate in silos, and the neither counterance. So it is a safe and collaboration among the nations, open sharing of data, and WHO reached the US hoping that it will consider its decision and engage once again. And there is a no stranger miracle of science. The health community hopes that one will more restore US back to WHO fold. So this is a picture of the week of chinar tree. that was a cultural symbol of Jammu Kashmir facing a threat due to urbanization. And there is a unique identification codes, that is digital tree Aadhaar conservation. Scanning QR code give a person information about geographical trees healthy growing patterns. So moving to the next is the DGCA suggests a phase of implementation of new norms of pilots from July. So the DGCA said that there is a revised and rest and duty norms proposed by aviation regulator for pilot that was strongly opposed by airlines, and that there is 3 weeks to submit an affidavit, where regular provision will also implemented in July 1, which will also remain for winter schedule. So DGCA January 2024, which uh, scheduled to force from June 1, 2024, that welcomed by the pilots to amid the concerns. Following the pilots' bodies, the court has ordered DGC to hold the talks between airlines and pilot bodies to arrive the consensus implementation. Indigo rejected DGC's suggestion to raise the definition of night flying from 5 am to an unchanged. DGC implemented database fatigue receive management to 48 hours from June. So is stung by the Pooja Khedkar row amends the civil service exams rules. So basically there are many rules changes in the form application. You have already, who are applying for the exam, already know what are the norms taken by UPSC, like giving the all the caste certificates, their documents, their residence, every certificates in the previously in the prelims exam. Basically it was asking after the mains, during the mains and prelims, during the PT, during the interview. But now there is a 25th notification stated that candidates shall be required to apply online and submit the request information, support the documents toward such a date of birth, category, OBC, EWS, PWD. It is added because to provide the requirement formation documents with registrations. There is not no much scamming in this exam. 979 vacancies that held to be recruited the candidate for 23 services, including IAS, IFS, IPS. So moving to the next one is new Manrega wage payment significantly better. So there is no statistically significant difference in either of payment on APS and standard bank account. Labor Economics by Indian Journal of Labor Economics, that they guarantee the scheme transaction is 4602 crore in the made across 10 states, and Indian government made the Aadhaar based mandate for 2024, arguing many transparency of many workers. However, their Manrega is still a technology laboratory, and ethical wage payment delays the result of 2 digital. So the standard analyze the processes within the 7-15 days across the two. So the 39% of the account-based payments were processed, and any problems with account resolved logically through computer operator. So what the Meta secured NCLT relief from CCI WhatsApp. Meta had challenged the Competition Commission of India CCI directive to issue in November a ban on sharing data WhatsApp and other Meta entities for advertising purposes. Meta has also criticized CCI for technical expertise to understand the ramifications of the National Company Law NCLT Appellate Tribunal ordered us. Tell me what in which article it is come. So tell me in the which article NCLT comes. And the Meta challenges the WhatsApp business model. So the 350 millions Facebook user, 500 million people using WhatsApp. So the India fashion a business, for example, to personalize the interaction of WhatsApp user, Facebook registered entity, and selling the Facebook Book India online services reported the $351 million in 2023, highest least 5 years. So basically the data, just read once go through it just. So let's have a summary of today's news. We have already covered everything that is important: editorials, articles, small corner news, one-liners. So moving to the first is the fire remorse by tea seller triggered the Jalgaon tragedy, and there is a 4th millennium BC in PN Stalin. Moving to the next one is about the how the poverty is underestimated in India. Third is about the grey birthday for Election Commission of India. Fourth one is about regarding the how India is on the winning road of end TB. Fifth is about how the does the Trump 75 days order affect the TikTok ban. Sixth one is about how the France influence West Africa's over. Seventh is regarding the WHO, how withdrawing the US from WHO impacts its interest. Eighth one is about the DGCA suggests the phased implementation of new norms of pilot from July. Stung by Pooja Khedkar Row, government amends the civil services. Ninth one is about the Manrega's payment system significantly not better, and Meta secures the NC. So that's for today, covering every important aspects. Just go through one if you just found that everything something is important. Basically, I've covered the editorials that is important from the exam point of view. So tomorrow, let's meet tomorrow with a new editorial. Till now, good night. Take care. Bye bye.